Yeah, welcome back. Now that we've done some things about numbers and floats, we're going to look at some advanced features of PHP, and this time around we're talking about arrays. Okay, so we're going to delete this, do a save as, and this time around we are onto arrays.php. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to change the title to arrays. And now we're going to give a brief introduction of what an array is. Now an array is a list of variables, or let me say it holds packets. Okay, it's more like a packets or a list of packets that holds data. Okay, so it can be a variable, it can be a number, it can be whatever, it can be a string, but it's more like a list of packets or many packets, be it many number, they can be 2, they can be 3, but a list of packets that holds numbers, and these packets are in a specific position with each packet having its own position. Okay, so let's quickly take an example so that we'll know what I'm talking about. So now we'll create an array. Let's call it array1, and now to create an array you write it like this: array, and then in a bracket you list your elements. So here we have 2, 4, let's use numbers first, we have 6, we have 11, we have 22, we have 25, let's just guess numbers, and let's put our delimiter there. So let's echo a packet in our array. Okay, so we're going to echo packet number 3. Now let's echo that. So we're going to echo array1, and now to get the value of what is in packet number 3, you use square brackets like this, and then you put what you want inside. In our case 3, put your delimiter there. Let's save that and let's see what we're going to get in our browser. Okay, so let's try that. Localhost arrays.php, and you see that it gives us back the result of 11. Now, but if you look here, 11 is the 4th element. Now that brings us to a very important part of array that I want you to put your mind always, because in arrays the element count starts from 0. Okay, the first element is given the position 0, then the next element, which is the second one, is 1, 3, 4, like that, but the very first element is the 0th element. Okay, it starts its counting from 0. So if you want to echo the second element, in this case your result is going to be 6. Let's refresh that and see. As you can see now, this is a basic way of how an array looks like, or what an array can do. Now we'll take another brief example. In this case we're going to combine strings. Let's put a br tag somewhere. Let's put a br tag here. So let's call this array2. Let's call this array2, and let's give it let's add strings to this one. Now let's say cat, dog, horse, 2, and then let's say donkey. Okay, that should do. And then our semicolon should be there. Okay, let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to echo a BR tag, so I'll have a very nice space down there. So BR, get out delimiter, and I'm going to echo the array 2 position 1, which is the second element. We're going to assign that to mouse, and mind you, we are echoing it directly. Okay, we'll assign it to a mouse and we're echoing it on the same line. So right now we're going to look at what our result looks like, and you discover that it changes from a mouse, it changes from a dog to a mouse. Okay, so that is how you can change the element of an array inside an array. Okay, so in our next video we'll be looking at what we call the associative arrays. See you in the next. Now we're going to be talking about the associative arrays, and associative arrays are this kind of arrays that their labels, their elements are represented by labels. Now when you want to call such kind of arrays, you call them using their labels, not the position that they are in the array. Okay, so we're going to quickly look at how such arrays looks like. So I'll put a break tag here, and then continue with our code right here. So I'm going to call an array 3 and we'll create an array for it. Now this kind of array looks like this. So let's say for instance we have first name. Now this is the label. Okay, now to write what the label is representing, or the element that you labeling, then the symbol that represents that is the equal to and the greater than symbol. Okay, so you write it like that, and let's say the first name is Thomas, and the last name is Son. Okay, so this is an example of an associative array. So now when you want to echo the first name of the array, you're going to echo the label of the array. Okay, not the position, as in a previous video where echoing according to the position 1, position 2, position 3, like that. But in this case you echo according to the label of the element in the array. So here we are on array number 3, and array 3 we are echoing first name, put our delimiter there, and let's see how this is going to be outputted in our browser. Okay, so refresh that and you see that the first name becomes what? Thomas. So in this case you don't output you don't echo your array using the position number. Okay, you echo it using the name of the label. Okay, the label representing that particular element. Do you get what I'm saying? Now I'm going to concatenate the first name and the last name together using the concatenation method we learned a couple of videos back. So I'm going to concatenate using the period sign, concatenate with a space, and then I'll concatenate with the last name of the array 3, last name. We'll forget our quotes, and one quote should be here, and our delimiter should go in there. So now I believe you know what this is going to give us. Let's quickly check in our browser and see the concatenation worked. Okay, so you can also concatenate in arrays using this particular concatenation method. Okay, so now there's one last thing I would like to show us now to display an array the exact way that it's been written using the print r method. So let's quickly look at that. I'm gonna put a break tag here. I'm opening another PHP tag. Now we're going to echo array 1 using the print r function like this, and we're going to print r array 1. Put our delimiter there, and let's see what it's going to give us. Okay, sorry about that. It is supposed to go into a bracket like this. Okay, so that's my mistake, and you discover that our array is being imputed, giving you the position, the element, and the position number. Okay, so 2 is in position 0, 4 is in position 1, 2 is in position 6 is in position 2, and like that. Now you can decide to display it using your pre-tags in HTML. You have the pre-tag. Now it removes all formatting from a particular element surrounding it. Okay, so that pre-tag close, and we'll do a Ctrl S on that one, and let's refresh and see how it looks like. So bam, you see our array in that format. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is array functions. I'll urge you to look at this video, watch it over and over again to understand the concept of arrays and how it works in our program, why programming. So the next video we're going to be talking about array functions, and I'll see you there. So now that we have a little knowledge of what arrays is all about, we've seen how array works, how to combine different variables into an array, and how flexible it is when compared to variables. We're going to look at some functions of arrays that make them very, very flexible and at times more preferred than using an ordinary variable. So I'm going to delete all of these, leaving only my array 1, and I'm going to do a save as, and here we're going to say array functions functions.php, and I'm going to change this title to array functions also. So now we are just going to try out some of the functions used in an array, and we're quickly going to try the sort. We're going to sort the array. Now before we do that, I'm going to scatter the array. I'm going to scatter them. I'm gonna put 2 there, put 4 here, put 25 there. Okay, now it's in a scattered form. Now we're going to sort it in an ascending order and a descending order. Okay, and we're going to print r the result to our browser, okay, in an array format, just like we saw in our last video. So we'll quickly get into that. So first of all, try the sort pattern. Bring this up, close it right here, so we can have a br tag somewhere around. Okay, no need for that for now. So we're gonna open another PHP tag down here, and we're gonna try to do the sorting. So here we are sorting, so that's sort. So we'll sort array 1, array 1, and we're going to print r the result. of array 1. Now what it's going to do is it's going to first of all sort the array, and then from after sorting the array, it will give you a printed version, a readable version of the array that it's sorted. So that's array 1 there, and our delimiter comes in there. Now let's do that for, this is for ascending order, so let's quickly do that for descending order. Put now BR tags here, BR. So I'm just going to copy that and change some things. So the descending order is written as reverse sort. Okay, so that's reverse sort, written arrow sorts in PHP. That's the function name, arrow sort. Then when you arrow sort the array 1, then you're going to print r, the same array, to give you a readable format of the array. Now let's quickly look at what we'll get in our browser from there. So we'll change this to array functions.php, array functions.php, and we'll have a very nice arrangement from the least to the biggest and from the biggest to the smallest in our reverse sorted format. So that is for sorting. Now we're going to look at some other functions of an array, like the implode function, the explode function, and to check if a particular element is in an array. Now what the implode function does is it converts an array to a string, and the explode converts the string back to an array. Now let's quickly look at how that works. I'm going to copy this. Let me give a couple of break tags there so that you're going to differentiate it very well. So this is for implode. Now the way to write it is we're going to implode an asterisk let's just call it a multiplication sign. Now we're going to implode an asterisk in place of this. Okay, we're going to replace it with an asterisk and then convert the whole thing to a string. Now when we output that in our browser, you're going to understand what we're talking about. Okay, so and then we'll print r. Do we really need to print r? No, let's just echo that. Okay, because we're converting it to what? Converting it to a string, so we'll just echo it there. And then let's do the same thing for explode. So here we have explode, and in this case we are printing r. So print r because we're taking it back to the array format. So we're going to print r explode, which is the function, and in this case, okay, we're first of all going to assign the implode function to a variable that we are outputting it to. Okay, so here we'll echo, let's just say the variable is string 1. Okay, so string 1 is equal to the function implode of the array 1 here, and then we'll echo. We don't need to echo any other thing again because we've already echoed right here. Okay, so that is it. So here we're going to print r. That's will take the value of the string 1 here, which is now a normal string, explode it, remove the asterisk that we inserted here, and then convert it back into an array and print it in a readable format. Okay, and then if that will be the case, we'll remove the echo here so that we'll have a very nice looking output. Okay, so let's try that and see how it looks like. So we're going to refresh. We'll have an error there. Okay, here we are printing the string, okay, not the array, printing it back to an array. So this will be string 1. That'll be string 1. Let's save that. Okay, now let's try it again. Okay, we still have an error. Okay, I've seen where we went wrong. Okay, our brackets were not complete. Now we'll save that, and bam, we'll have a nice clean looking result. Sorry about that. So you always have to check your code to make sure you are error free. Okay, so now the implode function take the array, remove the element of the array, and attach the asterisk sign that we assign to it right here. And then from the explode, what it did was, now this is a string, it took the string, removed the asterisk, and take it back to an array format. So you can do the pre-tags, pre-HTML tags to bring it to the other format, or the vertical format. Okay, so that is for the implode and the explode. Now we're going to look at one last function for arrays, and this one is called we're checking to see if an element is in an array. So we'll just quickly do that. So let's just say in array, and we'll quickly check for that. So this will be, remove this. So we'll just call it in array, written like this. And what you're going to do is, it have 2 arguments. Okay, now the first argument is the element that you are checking for. Okay, let's check if 1 is in array 1. Okay, we'll save that, and you discover that there's nothing that is displayed. Okay, because 1 is not in our array 1 variable. Okay, so now we're going to check if the number 6 is in our array, is available. But when you look at the array, you have 2 6s there. Okay, you have 1 6 here, and you have another 6 here. That will take us to what we're going to look next, that is Boolean 1s and 0s, and we're going to understand why it displays 1 instead of 2. Okay, so see you in the next video. Now the next thing we're going to be looking at right now is Boolean. Okay, Boolean is just true or false. Okay, 0s and 1s, it's just the test to see if a value or variable is true or false. So let's quickly look at how we can work with Boolean. Okay, so I'm going to delete all this, and I'm going to do a save as, and here we're going to have Boolean.php. Now we're going to change this to Boolean, and here we open and close our PHP tag. Okay, now let's set a variable. Let's call this bool1 is equal to true, and let's set another one called bool2. Let's set it to false. Now true and false are case insensitive in PHP. You can write it all caps lock or no caps lock, or capitalize the first word. Just don't put it in a quote. Okay, it shouldn't be in a quote, because when you put it in a quote, it becomes a string. Okay, now the true and false in a string or in a quotes makes that become a string. Now when you write them like this, it specifies the statement of fact. Okay, trying to confirm if something is true or not. Okay, so that is how it works. So we'll quickly echo that to see how it works. So let's echo bool1. Okay, and let's echo bool2. So let's go to our browser and check that out. So we have booleans.php, and we have 1 there. Now the question is, which of them have 1? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do it in a way that we're going to understand. So I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to open a new PHP tag for this too. So let's call this bool1. So we have PHP here, and let's close that here, and we have bool2, then we have PHP, and we're also going to close that here. Now let's refresh that and see. Now you see that our bool1 is equal to 1 and our bool2 is equal to nothing. Now the equal to 1 means bool1 is true. That means, of course, there's something there. I mean, true is true, true is true, true is 1, true is on, you know, logic boolean. So you can still use booleans to check if something is set or not. Now something being set is if it's active. Okay, let's just use the word active. Okay, so that is some of the functions of a boolean. Let's just check some few of them. So I'm going to copy this, put a break tag there, put br tag, and we're gonna paste it, and here we're checking if it's set. So now we're going to echo is set. The function is set, and the variable in a bracket and close the bracket here. Okay, so let's do that, and we do another is set. Let's put a break tag here. So let's copy that and paste it a couple of times. So to is set like 3 times. So let's say is set 1, is set 2, and is set 3. So echo is set bool1, bool2, and let's just say bool3. No, you know, we have nothing like bool3, but let's just say bool3. Okay, let's Control S and see how that works out. Now when you see that, you see that your is set 1, which is for bool1, is set. That means there's something there. Yeah, it's been assigned. Okay, it's active, so it's been set. So your bool2 is also set, but since there's no bool3, that means it is not set. Okay, so likewise you can also unset a particular variable. So to do that, you use your unset function. Use your unset function. Okay, so that we're going to do it this way. So we're going to unset bool2, and we're going to save that. So let's give a couple of br tags here so you get the difference. So let's refresh that and see. Okay, there's some mistakes somewhere. Well, let's quickly go through that and see how it works. Okay, now we're going to unset bool2, and we're going to echo all of this back again. to see if it really worked out or not. Okay, so I'm gonna copy that, but before I paste it, I'm gonna unset. Put a PHP tag there. And I'm gonna unset bool2. bool2 and my semicolon there, and we're going to echo that again and see what happens. Okay, now you say that your bool2 has been unset. That means the only one that is set now is bool1. Okay, so that is how it's been done. Now bool2, since it's unset, we say it's null. Okay, null, null. So you can check for null or empty by using a particular function called the empty function. Now that one goes like this. So let's delete this, and let's say we're checking for empty. So we're checking to see if bool1 is empty, and let's refresh that and see. Now bool1, is it empty? Now if it's empty, you'll see 1, but since it's not empty, you'll see nothing. Now let's quickly assign another variable called bool4, and let's set it to null. Okay, let's just set it to null, and now let's check if bool4 is empty. Now let's refresh, and you discover that bool4 is empty, which is null. Now you might have null or 0. It also means empty. Okay, so if you have 0, when you refresh that, you see that there's no change. That means it assumes 0 is a null number. Okay, so that is it for Boolean. We're going to talk more about Booleans when we'll get to logical operations later in the video. But for now, see you in the next video. Now that we've known how Booleans work, it's high time we'll look at how to switch between types, data types. Okay, so we're going to do a save as on this. So we're going to talk of typecasting here. Okay, let me just say typecasting.php like that, and I'm going to change the title to typecasting. Okay, this is going to be very short this time. Okay, so let's quickly set a variable. Let's say var1 is equal to 2. No, let's give it a string. Okay, var1 is equal to 2. var2 is equal to 3. Now if you look at that variable, you discover that even though 2 is a number, but the variable 1 is a string while the variable 2 is a number. Okay, so now for you to understand this very well, you use a function called the getType to know the particular type of data that you're working in. Okay, so that one is written like this. Let's echo it. It's written getType all in one word. So getType variable1, and let me just put that separately. Let me put a Ctrl V there, and then let's do this. Now I'm gonna put a break tag here. I'm gonna copy this and paste it here, not forgetting my semicolon. Now get type variable 1 and get type variable 2. Now let's quickly look at what that will output for us in our browser. Now we are looking at typecasting .php, and now you see that the variable 1 is a string and variable 2 is an integer. So what this particular function does is it gives you the name of the data type. Okay, so you can switch between data types also. So let's look at that. So that you're going to use a particular function called the set type. Okay, this time around we're not going to echo it, we're just going to set the type. So this will be set type variable 1, but the set type have two arguments. So the first argument is the variable you want to set. Now our variable 1 is a string. We are setting the type to an integer. Okay, so we're setting the type to an integer, and then we're going to echo the type of variable 1. Now let's see what is going to output for us. Now you discover that the variable 1 is now an integer instead of a string. So that is how you can switch between types and get the type of data that you're working on, so that you know if you're working on a float number, a string, an integer, you know, whatever. So those variables, those are functions, are the things that are used. Okay, so the next movie we're going to look at another very important thing called constants. Constants are very important by programming. So but till then, go through this one, understand how it works. I'll see you in the next video. So far we've learned many data types, but this time we're going to be talking about constants. Now constants is very similar to variables in the sense that variables vary but constant remains the same. Okay, and we're going to keep it very short. Now to assign a constant, let's first of all assign a variable so you understand what I'm talking about. Now you can do your savers, but I've done my savers and save as constant at PHP. So let's assign a variable called var1 and assign it to, let's say, 280. Now you can decide to increase your var1 by saying var1 plus equals 3, and then you echo var1. I think this makes sense. We've done this before, so it's obvious. Now let's refresh and see you have 283, right? Now while defining a constant, you don't use the $sign. Okay, you use a function called define, and the define function have two arguments inside the bracket. Now the first argument is the constant you are defining. Now in our case we are defining width, and followed by the value given by the constant, in this case 280. So if we echo width, we're going to have 280. Simple. So now the constants don't carry a $sign, and it's always caps lock. I mean capital letters, no small letters. Okay, so you define your constants with capital letters and then value of the constant. So that is the way to define constants. You can change them. They are not variables, they can't vary, they are what they are. Okay, so that is for constant. So in our next video we're going to be talking about logical statement, the if else, you know, and then we'll talk about loops, and we'll see how we can apply some of this in our everyday PHP programming. But for now, thank you for watching.